I get a lot of questions on YouTube about what type of emergency plan or fund I have for retirement. What if I need a new car? What if I have a medical emergency? What if I have a major house repair? What if I need long-term care? So I'm going to try to answer some of those questions. If you haven't seen me before, I retired in June 2024 at 58 and a half on $500,000. People are living longer and health and medical bills are getting more expensive, so it's a legitimate concern. Some people may choose to work longer because of this. I totally understand why people would want to work longer, and that's each person's choice. If you retire early, you gamble with possibly running out of money. If you work longer, you gamble with the possibility of not having enough time or the health to enjoy your time. I was more willing to gamble with the money part than my health. Money is important, but so is my health. I would have had to work until around age 70 to have $1 million saved for retirement. I don't want to retire with more money at age 70 and then have limited time and health to enjoy my wealth. I also live a simple, inexpensive life. I'm really not worried about running out of money. I use the 3-bucket strategy. My bucket number 1 has 3 years worth of cash in it. People argue that keeping that much cash means losing opportunities, and that is true. But cash doesn't mean it's not making any interest. Currently in my bucket number 1, my high-yield savings account was making 5%, but it recently dropped to 4.25%. And my I-bonds were making 9% at one time, but now they've dropped down to about 4% too. As interest rates drop, I may move that money around to get better rates. The real value of cash bucket number 1 is an insurance policy against market downturns and other big emergencies. I like Vanguard. They have a projected outlook for financial markets. Now, no one can predict the market, but I feel like Vanguard probably does a better job than I would. I'm going to link their 10-year return forecast below. If you look at their forecast, it doesn't look a lot better than the rates I'm getting on my bucket number 1, which is honestly a little bit concerning. I hope my buckets 2 and 3 will do better than this forecast, but I don't feel like I'm missing out on a huge opportunity by keeping 3 years of cash in my bucket 1 making around 4%. Having several years of cash in bucket number 1 is a defense against market downturns or a big emergency. I had a viewer ask what I would do in the event of a big emergency. If you have to take a large amount of money out of your pre-tax retirement accounts, it can affect your tax bracket and your ACA subsidies. So that's another benefit of having several years worth of cash in bucket number 1. So let's look at a couple emergency scenarios. Say, God forbid, I have a big medical emergency. Luckily, I have ACA insurance and my out-of-pocket max is around $7,200. So say I needed an extra $7,000 beyond what I was planning for during 1 year. I think I could cut down a lot on my expenses and get pretty close to that. I am willing to cut down spending when I need to. But if not, I could pull that amount out of bucket number 1. I told ACA that my net income would be around $36,000, so I just need to make sure it doesn't go over that so I don't have to pay those subsidies back. But remember, they don't look at after-tax money like Roths, high-yield savings accounts, CDs, and all the things in my bucket number 1. Now, even though my house is only 11 years old, say my HVAC system goes out. According to Google, a new HVAC system runs around $7,500. So I'd use the same scenario. Someday I'll need a new car. Of course I'll buy used, but I'm estimating it could be as much as $20,000. So I may pull part of that out of bucket number 1 and I may take out an auto loan. It really depends on how my finances and the markets are doing at that time. So as long as a medical emergency, a new HVAC system, and a new car don't happen all in the same year, I think I'll be fine. My car, even though it's 14 years old, only has 87,000 miles on it. I expect it to last me for at least another 5 years. It's taken me 14 years to put 87,000 miles on my car. I also have additional emergency backup plans. My house is paid off, so if I had a big financial emergency, I could do a reverse mortgage. I don't want to do that, and I'm not planning on doing that, but it is a backup plan. Reverse mortgages have come a long way since they started in the 60s. I could also sell my house and move somewhere where the cost of living is cheaper. In retirement, many people move to places like Mexico, Portugal, Thailand, and other countries where the cost of living is cheaper. I don't want to move away from my family, but I could if I needed to. I can think of worse things than living near a beach. I've also been asked about my plan for long-term care. I personally decided not to get long-term care insurance. I'm not suggesting that you do that. I'm just sharing what I personally decided to do. According to Google, the average person lives about 2 years in long-term care. It might cost around $4,300 a month or $52,000 a year for assisted living. And for a nursing home, it might cost $8,900 a month or $107,000 a year. So that would be between $100,000 and $200,000. If I end up needing long-term care, I could sell my house. That would cover up to 3 years of long-term care. My house is currently worth $374,000, but if I don't end up in long-term care, then after I die, my children can sell my house and keep all of that money. Long-term care insurance would cost about $2,100 a year, again according to Google. So if I paid for long-term care insurance for 30 years or more, it could add up to over $63,000. The estimated cost for care for people in their final 5 years of life without insurance would be about $287,000 for people with dementia and $183,000 for people without dementia. And this is just what Google said. I know some people won't agree with not having long-term care insurance. This is just what I chose to do. Another option I could use is having a roommate in retirement. As an introvert, it's not really something I want to do, but if I needed extra income, I could. My daughter has also told me repeatedly that she would take care of me in my later years, which is very sweet. While I don't want that to happen, it is another backup plan. My small pension and Social Security would more than cover the cost for groceries and other fees if I had to move in with her in my 80s or 90s. I really don't want to do that to her, but it is there as a backup plan. When my mom got too old to take care of herself, she moved into a tiny house on my sister's property. She had her own space, and my sister was 10 yards away from her in her own house. She was able to check on my mom often and take care of her. I saw how exhausting this was for my sister. Even though she wanted to take care of my mom, it was hard on her. I don't want to do that to anyone. So this is really a backup to my backup plan, but it is a possibility. And last, even though it would be an extremely frugal life, I could survive on my Social Security and pension alone if I had to. My Social Security and pension combined will be around $24,000 a year, which is equivalent to the average Social Security benefit. Just in case you're thinking, but I don't have a pension, so I couldn't do that, it is the same amount as most people get for Social Security, and they both have a COLA. I have family that owns property in the woods. If I had to, I could sell my house, build a tiny house on this property, and live on that $24,000 a year. So if for some reason I ran out of my entire retirement savings, I could do this. While that wouldn't be ideal, I like to have lots of emergency backup plans. It makes me feel better. I don't foresee having to use any of these backup plans, but they're there if I need them. Don't underestimate the value of your house as an asset you can draw upon one day if you need to. And don't forget about Social Security. Also, I'm retiring, not dying. I could go back to work if I needed to. The sooner you retire, the more healthy years you have to enjoy your life. There's always financial uncertainty, but there's also uncertainty about how long we're going to live and how many healthy years we have left. My biggest fear is not running out of money. It's missing out on my healthy retirement years. So those are some of my emergency plans. What about you? What plans do you have in case of emergency? I truly understand why some people work longer to have more money in case of emergency. But for me personally, I felt like the health benefits from retiring earlier would outweigh the small possibility of needing more money when I'm older. If you're seeing me for the first time, hi, I'm Julie and this channel's Happy on Monday. Thanks for joining me. If you found this helpful, please like. And if you're interested in early retirement, consider subscribing. I'm going to leave you with a quote. Time is non-refundable. Use it with intention. Hope to see you again soon.